SMX Insider post-race show, some business to take care of after some business taken care of on the racetrack. Round 6 of Monster Energy AMA Supercross from Ford Field in Detroit. Let's send it to Jason Thomas on the podium. A hard-fought race tonight. Chase Sexton with the win. Let's hear from the runner-up.
Well, Ken Roxon, fantastic main event. And that's a battle we've seen many times between you two. And just watching the racetrack, it looked like it was very difficult to defend from the front. A lot of the corners were open to block passes. And once Cooper got close, it looked really challenging. What was the race like from your perspective?
It was, yeah, honestly, it was a really fun race. I was really pumped on my start, the battles. I kept my cool the whole time, even though he was revving behind me and all that stuff. So I was really happy with that. I didn't let anything faze me. I know the stigma behind, when we go to battle and him getting me towards the end, but I just tried what I could, It's honest work, and, I had a really good week of training and rebounded after last week, and that was really important for me. So I really tried all the way till the end, and yeah, he got the better of me, but I'm happy with the podium, really am. Even though we're only got 2 points closer, I'm doing whatever I can out there. We're executing our plans that we have coming into the night show. So I'm still happy with it. Good battle, and honestly, even just gapping the rest of the field, it just feels good to be up in the mix, honestly. So I'm happy with tonight, and I'm gonna continue trying and charging to not let that happen towards the end of the race, but nonetheless, I'm happy with it.
Great job, Rick Grace. We'll see you in Arlington.
So Ken Roxon, runner-up there, getting some points back. And everyone heads to Arlington, Texas for the next SMX race. Race Day Live will kick it off. Qualifying coverage at 2 o'clock Eastern time. As always, you can watch on Peacock or the SMX Video Pass. We have a pre-race show back next week. Adam Cianciarulo and Justin Brayton handling that along with myself. It'll start at 7. Drop the gates for racing at 7:30 Eastern. There'll be a re-air on CNBC. That will be wild because there's a points lead tie right now.
Ooh.
And it's also military.
I love it, the enthusiasm and just how everyone participates in that. A lot of cool designs. It's good.
Yep, see the gear and the graphics change for that. One more story for the podium, and what a story. Here's third.
A story indeed, Jason. Congratulations, Chase. Just seconds into that race. It didn't seem like you standing here in this third position would be possible. But from your perspective, what went through your head? We saw Jay Dungy, your mechanic, put up there that you can do it. Did you believe you could do it? At what point was this possible?
To be honest, after I fell, or after I hit the gate, I was last. I'm going to try and make the most of it. Ran into another rider, went down, so I was dead last. And I'm like, well, it's time to send it. And I felt like I rode really well. Probably best ride of the season. Obviously, not the result we wanted, but I made the most of a bad situation. And the team did a great job this week getting my bike better. I was smashing the whoops, and that's more like it for me. So looking forward to keeping this season going, and yeah, that ride was fun.
A positive attitude as always. Congratulations on the podium, Chase.
Well, it was a good ride.
It was.
No doubt about that, but it's the two things that happen the first quarter of a lap that needs to be cleaned up. Again, especially against the competitors that he's racing against. You just can't cop those kind of moves up and points up. It's not fun to say that, but those are the facts.
Yeah, he knows it, and he'll have his chance next week. See these three square off in Arlington. Podium celebration here. This is cool to have the post-race show live these days, to be able to see this. 5 different winners now this year in 6 races. That is unbelievable. And Roxon would love to join that list, and he's darn close.
Yeah, I mean, he was almost there.
Yes.
And going to Arlington next weekend, he's capable of winning each and every week.
Oh, yeah. Show you the champagne celebration here at Ford Field. Shout out to the fans, by the way. Had a pretty good crowd considering some pretty bad weather all weekend long. A lot of snow this afternoon. They're tough here in Michigan, and they were entertained right to the end with that Roxon and Webb battle. There's champagne.
That's what it's all about. Well, I can tell you this much. That man who got second tonight, we are on the same flight home, so he's probably saying, let's get going.
It's not too long from now.
No, it's not too long.
Yeah, Roczen was in a rush to get to the checkers and everything else.
Right.
Done.
This is cool. These are fun moments right here. And sometimes you can catch a little, some hidden little, yeah, like comments in here.
Checkers have been tight.
Oh, there you go. Larry Brooks, man, what an incredible team manager. You talk about experience and Supercross wins and championships. That man has got them.
Kenny didn't even pop it. He just let Larry drink it.
Yep.
Webb's going to celebrate big time, though.
And these guys are on the way to celebrate, getting the fans going.
This is great. From long range. Can he make this happen?
Oh, he can, absolutely.
Oh, he got it. He got him.
It's Cooper Webb, dude. What do you expect?
You give him the challenge. He'll take your challenge.
Oh, yeah. You don't give this guy an inch.
Nope.
You give him an inch, he takes a mile.
Yeah, and you sensed it the last couple of weeks. It's coming together for him. Here are the highlights. Monster Energy AMA Supercross and SMX from Ford Field in Detroit. Chase Sexton, point leader, fast qualifier, crushed his heat race. Everything was headed his direction when the riders were on the gate for this one. But that gate ended up telling a lot of the story for him. He got stuck in it.
I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw a guy, a points leader, at the red plate, hit the gate. And then, like he said, he fell down 2 corners later, ran into somebody, and now he's really dead last. And man, it's so tough when that happens, but definitely going down early like that gives you enough time to catch up.
Aaron Plessinger, his teammate, in the lead, but here's Ken Roczen.
Man, Aaron had the sauce early on in this race, and I thought he was going to go down to the wire, but definitely giving Ken Roczen a challenge. But Cooper, he has had really good intensity the last 2 weeks, I would say. Just looks different on the bike, looks aggressive, very agile. And I think that's what you had. You have to have this today, especially going against a guy like Chase Sexton,
who, coming from 22nd place, was making a lot of passes in a short amount of time.
Well, he was, and this track was difficult, especially as the race wore on. Corners getting super ruddy. Said they made some improvements to the motorcycle. He was crushing the whoops and going by Malcolm Stewart.
Malcolm Stewart in the whoops.
Contrary to last week, right?
Yes, true. Exact opposite. And that is putting him in the 4th place. And then Webb and Roczen, the battle is on for the win.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how much of this was strategy for Cooper Webb. He was dogging him. What he'd say on the podium, I think he felt like he had the speed at lap 3. I would not have wanted to be in Ken Roczen's place.
No, but Roczen held tough until late. Here's a move from Sexton to get the podium from Anderson.
Anderson tried to close the door, but again, another great ride overall.
Watch it.
By Jason Anderson.
Look at this, look at this. Anderson runs him high. He'll fight you.
He did, but Chase didn't give up.
He did again.
They're going back and forth. This is a lot of fun to watch, and but at the end of the day, Sexton gonna make it happen.
And then Webb looking to make it happen. You saw a couple of attempts on Roczen, and more here.
I love how this track ended up racing tonight. Inside, outside, guys.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
you know, finding lines, and there it was.
Like right there, go outside, or if you wanted to check up, you could sneak around there to the inside, go single, double over the tabletop, and just an excellent battle. And this was for the lead to solidify that pass. Kenny wouldn't be able to get back by Coop, and that was a well-played race by Coop, and also way to defend the lead for so long if you're Ken Roczen.
And then late, Anderson goes down hard while in 4th, and that's going to allow Malcolm Stewart to slide by.
Well, hopefully. I hope Jason's okay, didn't bang himself up too bad.
And this is the final lap. You see Roczen is still right there, but the checker's in sight, and another close finish, and Webb gets the win. First of the season. And respect between these two. A lot of water under the bridge between them, but very respectful of each other. Now, Sexton, the great comeback. Stewart continues his great start to the season in 4th. And Justin Cooper, quiet every week, but effective. Top 5, taking advantage of that late Anderson fall. Marcia, Ferrandis, Plessinger, Hill round out the top 10. Makarat and Savachi are 12th, 13th.
Yep. Teammates there.
Yep. On the quad lock Hondas. And Mitchell Wilderberg in the beta. And this is wild. Look at these Monster Energy point standings, RC.
Dueling plates. Cooper Webb's going to have the advantage because he's the most recent winner, I believe, right? Or no, they're tied. Sorry, I was thinking of it as a.
If it's the end of the year, though.
Championship, yeah.
Yep. But Sexton and Webb will both have the red plate next week. Heading to Arlington, Texas. Let's send it to the trackside. Find out more with Will.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, I'm catching up now with Carlos Rivera, crew chief for Red Bull KTM. Carlos, I was with you in the mechanics area when you were going through those laps, watching Chase just make gains, and I said to you, is this possible? Is a podium possible? And at that time, you weren't 100% sold on it. What did you see out of Chase? How do you even sum up that race from what we saw at the gate drop to what we saw then him taking a podium?
Yeah, that first one, he was incredible today, and then making those lap times. At one point, he was maybe a couple seconds faster than the leaders, and it was a little bit too late, hard to call because Jason, he was riding good too. But when he got closer to him, I said, this is possible, and that was maybe like 4 laps ago. And Chase basically put head down and rode really well. For me, this is a win. This is the days that you want to leave here and say, this is a championship guy. This is the day that you save a lot of points, and he still had the red plate.
And you've been around a lot of champions, including Cooper Webb, who he's now sharing the red plate with. What do you see in Chase, positive and negative? What do you want to switch up at this point, knowing he's probably going to go head-to-head with Coop deep into the season here? But you also see that fight in him, like you said, those championship qualities in being able to put your head down and work through. So how do you balance all of that? There's good and bad in all of it.
No, for sure. They both really great riders. I can take any for both. And they've been there. They're champions, past champions. And I believe it's going to be a good racing going forward from here. And they both, they're hard. They don't give up. So I think we're going to see a really good racing coming up next few races.
If you say it's true, I know it's true. You always guide me in the right direction. You say watch this space, I know to watch.
Yeah, for sure. This is, I mean, like we know, Cooper is there and he's always strong. And of course, Chase has the raw speed, and we just got to quick make mistakes, and we should be better.
Well, an incredible fight back from those mistakes. Thanks so much for your time, Carlos. We appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Will. Yes, Cooper Webb used to ride for Red Bull KTM. Carlos Rivera was his mechanic, so he knows the ins and outs of Cooper Webb's game. And then we know what Chase Sexton's all about. The raw speed is never in question. The start messed it up, but he still rode really well.
But that's part of racing, and at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to. This is going to come down to raw speed, but who can make the least amount of mistakes, because even though Chase might have a little bit more raw speed, Coop has enough speed to get the job done on nights like tonight, and Chase is going to have to eliminate those mistakes. It's not fun for me to say that, but that's the way it is. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, but you cannot do that against these guys. If you do, you're going to lose.
Yep, and he lost 5 points because of that. That's what it came down to, and now they're tied for the point lead. Playoff schedule coming your way in September. So Supercross will be over in May. Pro Motocross begins. And then that leads to the SuperMotocross Playoffs and World Championship. September 6th starts at SMX Dragway at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And then St. Louis, the Dome in America Center. Really cool track design there. Many Supercross races held in that building, but this will look different. It's a hybrid track. And the hybrid track finale also the strip at Las Vegas, the drag strip. September 20th, the world title, and we do expect the likes of Hunter and Jet Lawrence and Eli Tomac back by then. 250 highlights from Detroit. So a lot of riders looking to bounce back. That includes Nate Thrasher, not a good run at round 1. In Tampa, the 24 of RJ Hampshire, 18th at round 1 and 9th at round 1. Levi Kitchen on the 47. They all have to have good rides in Detroit, and they would deliver. 250 main event, gate drops, Kitchen and Max Anstey, last week's winner battling.
I like this right-hand first turn. I've been opposed to him, but I've been warming up to him over, I'd say, the last year. I love the radius of it. Wasn't too tight, much different than last week, but you talk about Max Anstey. What a great run through the whoops. and being able to build a little bit of a gap there early, and Mumford being in second, riding really well, but that allowed Max Anstey to get a little gap. And I thought that maybe the 47 of Levi Kitchen was going to be able to reel Max in, but he wasn't able to early on.
Anstey pulls away. Here is a move from Hampshire. Good speed from Mumford, but he's coming back from a brutal injury last year, and they were able to shuffle him back. So now 3 combatants up front. When you've got Anstey, Kitchen, and Hampshire, they are riders that expect to win races and titles. Here's McAdoo making a move on Mumford.
Yeah, I mean,
but the whoops would work well for McAdoo there, but not later on in the event. Oh, here's Tom Viel. Makes the move on McAdoo, who loses the front end, goes down.
Yeah, McAdoo just got a little high in the corner and leaned the bike over too much, and the berm gave away, and that's how he went down. And it was claiming a lot of victims. Look at RJ goes down. He will remount, though. He had a heck of a comeback.
Yeah, incredible to get back around the 250 East Division champ from a year ago, Tom Viel, reclaiming third while they battle inside the lap traffic.
Yeah, he talked about it in the post-race interview on the podium, how he needed to be on the podium, and they made some improvements on the bike here for the main event. He felt pretty comfortable, so great to see RJ rebound, and keep in mind, he's not 100%. So
now a huge moment here. McAdoo, late in the race, goes down hard in the whoops. That is a tough break for him, and it also leads to a red flag because they want to tend to him on the racetrack and a staggered restart. Anstey was looking at nearly a 7-second lead, and now it is gone in the final run of the checkers.
Well, and it's going to be a 2-lap dash for cash sprint race, and Levi Kitchen executed it perfectly, keeping the pressure on early. I thought when Max gapped him right here in the whoops, I'm like, oh, it's over. But Max had to ride defensively. He couldn't leave the door open. And this track really put riders in that position. You had to ride defensively, but then you end up losing time. And unfortunately, that would get the best of Max Anstey for what was an incredible ride. Still an incredible ride, but wasn't able to get the win.
He had it in so many ways, but that restart leads to this unbelievable battle. Look at Hampshire getting in there as well. They shuffle Anstey back, but the 31 would not give up.
Yeah, and even RJ said, hey, he just wanted to get it to the finish line and look big picture there, and I agree with him. Great job, RJ, but
how about this? Anstey had it, the restart cost him, and the win goes to Kitchen. He executed when it mattered most. There's Ken Roxon over there to congratulate him. They ride and train together a lot during the week. And there's the podium, a stoic Anstey and Hampshire third. Vial fourth after that battle with Hampshire. And Thrasher needed a rebound from last week, riding with a broken finger, ends up fifth. Hymas sixth. Faulkner, effective. He came to the last chance qualifier to get seventh on the Triumph. That's a good rebound. Mumford and Voland, who also needed a good solid result, gets it in the top 10. The Club MX and Yamaha, and the bad news keeps rolling here for Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Hammaker, food poisoning 17. The big crash from McAdoo. It might be up to Levi Kitchen to salvage the season for the Mitch Payton Kawasaki squad. He's had a ton of injuries and bad luck this year, but he's up to second in points now. Yeah,
you talk about the points. You look at Seth Hammaker, 24 down, and then I'm thinking of Cameron McAdoo and how this changes the complexity of what his season looks like. You already had the ACL. I mean, for all intents and purposes, his championship hopes for the 250 East Division is over. I think it's time to consider getting the ACL fixed and be ready for some late outdoor races and the SMX playoffs.
Yeah, that is the difference in the way the schedule works now. When we talk playoff racing, it gives you the opportunity to plan a little further ahead. I mean, it's a heartbreak for McAdoo to put in all the effort to get here and then up crashing out like that. But we talk about it with the 450s as well. Tomac, Hunter and Jet Lawrence, Jorge Prado. These guys will be back.
Oh, 100%. This is what I love about the SMX playoffs. I think it is really working out well. It gives some vindication for the guys' series. Right? It's vindicated if they go out and they do well. Because could you imagine back in the day, now their season is over? Well, that's not the case anymore, and they have something to look forward to now.
I want to talk specifically 250s, though, today here in Detroit. We've seen staggered restarts become more and more of a factor lately, but I don't think we've seen one this late in the race. That is a wild scenario for both Anstey, Kitchen, to deal with.
Yeah, you hate seeing a rider go down and they have to bring out the red flag, and I've seen more in the last several years than I've ever seen in my life, but for good reason, and they have to do the right thing. Safety, they're always going to do that, but it came at an unfortunate time for Max Anstey. But at the end of the day, you know, I hold these guys in high regard, and when they're in situations like that, it is what it is, and you have to seize the moment, and Levi Kitchen was able to do that. Doesn't take anything away from me for how well Max looked. I think Max is still in the driver's seat, especially how he responded from the heat race and how well he was riding in that main event.
Next week in Arlington will actually be a 250 West Division race, and then the East resumes at Daytona 2 weeks from now. We're going to go back and forth for a bit. Manufacturers' points, solid from Yamaha in Detroit. So 47 total points for them. That's today's score. And then we'll total it up for the year. Yamaha a slight edge over KTM, who scored points with Sexton and Vial today. Yamaha scoring them with Webb and Anstey. It's the top rider in each class for each manufacturer. So those are the manufacturer's points. Going to send it down to Jason Thomas one more time in Detroit.
We talk about two things that Cooper Webb was doing that really helped him get the win tonight. Now, one is this tried and true method. We talked about him going to the insides and shortening up the racetrack once it starts to deteriorate, and he was doing it right here in this rut. Now it's the very bottom, and yes, you can't carry as much momentum. We've seen like Eli Tomac in San Diego, Ken Roczen tonight carry all of that momentum around, but once it gets so rough out there, that starts to go away. Now this inside is going to carry into the whoop section, and I'm walking towards it now. There's a roller right here, right on the exit of the corner. There's a roller that really disrupts the momentum for whoops, but Cooper Webb was using it to his advantage, and this is how. He was jumping from the roller into this first whoop right here, and what that allowed him to do was disregard all of that disruption and find a rhythm. And he wanted to triple all the way through the whoops. We've talked about 9 whoops so many times and how effective that is to go 3-3-3. Well, doubling in here allowed that to happen. And he didn't start to do it till late. He was trying to blitz, but as these got worse and worse, that line started to work late. And the biggest factor in that is he was able to save energy. These guys are holding on so tight and holding their breath, hopping around in the whoops. Guess what Cooper Webb was able to do? He's able to relax, go hop, 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 and done. So it's those little things, the subtleties. When those guys are in the late laps, they're gassed, they're on their last bit of energy. Cooper Webb's actually able to rest here in the whoops, which sounds crazy. It's counterintuitive, but that line, the jumping line, allows that to happen. It's just one of those things that Cooper Webb has in his toolbox. On a track like this, these East Coast tracks where we talk about him being so lethal, this is a little reason why.
Supercross is proud to partner with the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for the 2025 season. By becoming a monthly donor, you help St. Jude give every child with cancer a chance. So donate $19 or more a month, and you'll get an exclusive Love Moto Stop Cancer t-shirt. Just text SUPER, S-U-P-E-R, to 785-833 to learn more. Time to look ahead to next Saturday at Arlington, Texas, just outside of Dallas at 250 West, resuming. If you folks don't remember, give it the point standings here.
There you go.
And we got a little rematch brewing. Julian Beaumer, there was some momentum going to Hayden Deegan, then Beaumer threw some away at Glendale, and Jordan Smith took advantage. And don't forget Cole Davies, who's been going fast. So I don't know if these guys know where they stand. They all have reason to think it's going to be a good one next week.
Well, and that's why I'm excited to go to Arlington, because now they've had a little reset. I'm sure some guys have made some improvements based upon how the first four rounds went, but it's going to be exciting because you know what's next weekend in Arlington.
Oh, yeah. Triple Crown, baby.
Oh, man, do I love the Triple Crown.
Yep, and it was great. The last time they raced at Glendale, that was the format, and it led to some very exciting racing. Cole Davies probably feels like he's owed one. And we'll see what condition Joe Shimoda is in. Dealing with those broken fingers, he could be back to race-winning pace. So that's 250s, now 450s. I was leaving the door open with all the chaos. I think a lot of people are saying it's going to be down to Sexton versus Webb. But you didn't want to count out guys like Roczen, Anderson, Plessiger, Malcolm Stewart. But they have shown something. Last to third and winning a main event. We'll see who else can hang in there next weekend.
Yeah, I like Kenny next weekend. I like his chances. He's a great starter. He's consistent. And I expect him to be really, really well. And then, of course, the two guys that are duking it out that tied for the points right now. I think that it's going to be on between those two guys, Chase and Coop.
That's going to be wild. We want to see a one-on-one battle.
Right.
That's
you got to tune in. Bottom line.
Yes, it's got to happen one of these weeks. And when you tune in, this is when you will be doing it. Race Day Live, 2 o'clock Eastern. That's qualifying coverage hosted by Justin Brayton, Adam Ciancerulo. You can watch on Peacock or the SuperMotocross Video Pass. Pre-race show coming your way from Arlington. We'll have a half hour, show you opening ceremonies and a lot of the storylines before we drop the gate. That's at 7:30 p.m. Again, Peacock and the SMX Video Pass. There is a re-air on CNBC if you want to watch it on linear television. So that's it for racing today from Detroit. Another wild one. And for Ricky Carmichael, Will Christian, and Jason Thomas. Great racing, unpredictable racing from Detroit. I'm Jason Wygant saying so long. See you next week, Texas.
Ken Roxon in the lead for a long time. Cooper Webb gets in late, but just an amazing ride for both of them. And Chase Sexton all the way from the back. Yeah, there's so many things to unpack.